The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 800-610-7035. Email is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and our main website is www.xzoneradiotv.com. We're doing a segment this hour on namology. Now, you're probably saying, what in the world is that? Well, my guest this hour is Sharon Lynn Wyeth. She is an educator and former high school administrator. She developed namology after more than 18 years of international and domestic observation and field work. Now, Sharon has appeared on multiple television and radio programs, including Good Morning Arizona. And she received a Literary Excellent Award for her book entitled Know the Name, Know the Person, Decoding Letters to Reveal Secrets Hidden in Names. And joining me now is Sharon Lynn Wyeth. And Sharon, welcome to the X-Zone.
Thank you, Rob. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
The pleasure is all ours. Tell me a little bit about namology and how you developed this very interesting and I'm going to say it, earth-shattering technique.
Well, it started years ago in my 7th year of teaching when I went to sit down and just make a random seating chart for the kids. And as I was putting names down, my brain kept saying, don't put Joshua next to Julie because together they'll be clowns, but separated they're okay. And Stephanie's going to be stubborn and never want her seat changed. And Derek's going to need extra help. And all kinds of don't put this one next to that one to make it safe. And I realized that that's what my brain does once I get to know the kids. But here, I just had a list of names. So since I was a math major in college and I have my master's, I thought my brain is so thoroughly trained in patterns, it's picking up some kind of a pattern with the name. So curiosity got the best of me. And I said, I really want to get to know the kids for who they are, but I really want to know if I found something here or what my brain's come up with. So I started writing down my impression of everybody based on their name. And I put it away until winter break. And when I read it, I was astonished at the accuracy. So then I thought, okay, how do I make what my brain has picked up subconsciously, how do I make it conscious? So I just started making lists. I had a proliferation of Davids in my life. And I made a list for every single David. And I wrote down every adjective and adverb I could think that would describe that David. And then I compared. And I said, okay, what they have in common has to come from the name David. But what they don't has to come from some other part in their name. So to make a long story short, it took me like 15 years to figure out all the patterns and kept perfecting it and trying it and erring, and trying it everywhere. And what I found was the first name is the essence of who we are. The middle name is where we go under stress. And for those people that believe in reincarnation, I believe that that's what we learned in our last lifetime. So that's why that's our comfort zone when we're under stress in this lifetime. And then the last name is represents our environment. So it's the pressures upon us or what our influence is. So said another way, the first name are the ingredients that you have in your kitchen to cook with, and the last name is the recipes you can make out of those ingredients.
But what happens when a name is abbreviated? For example, my name is Robert. My parents call me Bobby. My friends call me Rob. Does this change the way that namology works, or is it based on my Christian name?
All of it.
Wow.
So what happens is the name that's on your birth certificate is your contract with God and what you came to learn and what you came to share and what you came to experience. Then, as anybody shortens a name or gives you a nickname and you respond to it, they're really saying, let me see just this part of you. Don't let me see the other part. For an example, when you shorten Robert down to Rob, they're saying, I don't need to see the perfectionistic characteristics that are in Robert. Let's just be a little bit more easygoing, and we'll call you Rob.
Interesting. So basically, you can decipher and decode who anyone is just by their name.
Yes, we do that. And a lot of HR departments hire me when they get a flood of applicants for a job, and they say, who should we be interviewing, and is there any particular questions we need to be asking all of them? And so I help narrow that down and help them literally sometimes pick and say, this is the one that's got all the qualities you're looking for and not the others.
Fascinating. Please stand by, Sharon. You and I have to take a 2-minute commercial break. We'll be right back. Exonation, my guest this hour is Sharon Lynn Wyeth. We're talking about nemology, and fascinating website, fascinating topic, fascinating lady. www.knowthename.com. And Sharon and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com. Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell. My guest this hour is Sharon Lynn Wyeth. We're talking about her new book entitled Know the Name, Know the Person. It's based on a system that she has created, fine-tuned, that actually decodes the name of the person, their first name, their middle name, and their surname that actually identifies the person. It's fascinating work. It's being used by lawyers, HR departments, and when you developed your technique, namology, did you think it would have the impact that it has had so far? And I can only see it growing.
Well, I didn't, because I wasn't looking in that direction. I was really going after the curiosity of, is this a code? There's so many codes that were given between face reading and palmistry and the Bible code and everything. And I was just really into patterns. And I was like, wow, if I could use this to get to know my students faster, then maybe we could connect quicker. I mean, that's where I was looking at it. But it turns out that it's able to help families communicate better together. The number of people that call me and say, I'm not getting along with this one or that one, or the lawyers, how do I present? Here's my judge. What tactics do I want to use? I mean, it really helps people's communication skills to be more clear. So there's six styles of communication, and it's all located in the first vowel of the first name. And if you know where the conflicts are that are also there, then that can help you learn how to communicate with somebody else better.
All right. For example, use my name. Robert is my first name. Alexander is my middle name. And McConnell is my family name. And a lot of people say, that's your real name? Well, yeah, that's my real name. Why would I use somebody else's name, for goodness sake?
Okay. So in your name, you like to be useful. And you are a list maker. You want to make a list. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And it's like you're checking it off. And whether you do it on paper or in your head doesn't matter. But you're the list maker. And you don't like people to nag you or remind you. Once you're told, you got it. So when they start nagging, you work on your list from the top down to the bottom. But when they nag, you take that item out wherever it is on the list and you put it back on the bottom because they nagged. And now you don't want to do it, at least not as fast as you would have gotten to it otherwise. You have a lot of love or nurturing leadership qualities. You like being in charge of you. You like the autonomy of being the boss, or at least having your own freedom within your job. Your family says that you belong to the unit and you learn the priorities of your family. You also have writing techniques that your family attempted to teach you to say, here, you can become a good writer. You just need practice if you're interested in that area. Your N's in your name literally give you organizational skills. And so you can organize things, not necessarily where others can follow it, but definitely where you can always lay your hand on things that you want. You are perfectionism. You cannot stand liars. You just want to chop their head off. You're carrying a warrior sword and get rid of these guys that aren't telling the truth. You would have good hand-eye coordination. I mean, I could just keep going on and on and on because there's so much in a name.
Wow. Well, I've got to tell you, I've never met you. You sent me the information. Well, you sent one of our producers the information that we're using tonight on this interview. I did some research on you online, and you nailed me 100%.
Yeah, well, I can literally talk for over an hour on anybody.
Wow.
Just by looking at their name, because there's so much in there.
And this has been right in front of everybody since the beginning of time, and it took a teacher, which makes a lot of sense, to figure out the pattern and decode it.
Well, I think it existed and got lost, is my feeling, because if you read the Bible, right away it says that the Lord came in and he changed Abraham's name and Sarai's name to Abraham and Sarah. He made both of those names have an AH. And an AH in the system that I discovered really means I'm now on mission for God.
Okay.
When you have that combination.
Let's use the example where Jesus changed Saul to Paul. What does that signify?
Well, it's interesting that the AU in Saul is the same AU in Paul. So what he changed was the P and the L, and Saul is actually the S and the L. So he really only changed the first letter. In the name Saul, the SA combination, and this is anybody that has an SA combination, it means that they're here to learn about their own worth and value. Okay? That they have to sometimes become a workaholic or overwork to prove to themselves that they have worth and value, and they have a hard time hearing a compliment. However, when you change that letter, the SA combination, and now it's a PA, it says this person is now going to become influential. They're now like